is the Flir 5 Pro actually good for? Who should walk away? And does its price make sense for someone who just wants a reliable thermal camera without becoming a full-time tech geek? Those are the three questions I keep hearing when people stare at the spec sheet and wonder if they're about to make a smart purchase or just splurge on a fancy gadget. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down the real-world experience of using this camera, the kind of work it shines in, and the moments when it feels like a mismatch. First off, the E5 Pro lives in that sweet spot between toy thermal viewers you stick on a phone and the heavyweight, multi-lens rigs that cost as much as a high-end DSLR. It's built around Flir's patented MSX technology, which blends the thermal data with a visual edge enhancement overlay. In practice, that means you see more texture in a building's insulation or a hot electrical panel without having to switch between thermal and visual modes. For a homeowner trying to locate a drafty window or an HVAC technician confirming a coil leak, that extra visual context cuts the time you'd otherwise spend guessing. Ease of use is where the camera really tries to win you over. The menu is simple enough that you can power on, focus, and start scanning in under a minute. There's an autofocus system that locks onto the hottest spot automatically, which is a lifesaver when you're walking around a dark attic and don't want to fiddle with manual focus. The downside? The same autofocus can occasionally hunt in very uniform temperature fields. Think a large, evenly heated wall, so you might need to nudge the camera a bit to get a stable readout. It's not a deal breaker, but something to be aware of if you expect a perfectly steady image in every scenario. Low light behavior is surprisingly competent. Because thermal imaging doesn't rely on visible light, the E5 Pro works just as well at midnight as it does in broad daylight. The only hitch is the limited resolution 160120 pixels isn't going to give you a crisp picture of a distant roof vent, but it's plenty for spotting a heat signature a few meters away. If you're a wildlife enthusiast hoping to capture a clear silhouette of a nocturnal animal at 200 meters, you'll probably be disappointed. The camera feels comfortable for distances up to about 15-20 meters, which is exactly where most building inspection tasks happen. Stabilization isn't a headline feature, but the handheld design includes basic electronic image smoothing that reduces the jitter you get when you're moving around a job site. It won't replace a gimbal, but for quick spot checks like scanning a transformer box while you're on a ladder, it does the job without making the image wobble into nonsense. One area where the E5 Pro stands out is its Wi-Fi and Flir Ignite cloud integration. Snap a thermal shot, hit the share button, and the image uploads to the cloud in seconds. From there you can pull it onto a phone, annotate it, and send it to a client or coworker instantly. In real-world terms, an electrician can finish a job, send the thermal report to the homeowner's email, and have a record of the issue before the day ends. That workflow saves a lot of paperwork and eliminates the need to manually download files from a microSD card. Battery confidence is decent. The camera runs for roughly 3 to 4 hours of continuous use, which aligns with a typical half-day inspection. You won't be stuck mid-job unless you're running multiple scans back-to-back. The downside is the lack of a swappable battery. Once the pack drains, you have to wait for the charger, which can be a pain on a long site with limited power outlets. Now, who should actually buy this? If you're a professional who needs to document thermal data on-site, HVAC technicians, electricians, building inspectors, or even a small-scale contractor who wants to add a tech edge to proposals, the E5 Pro feels like a practical tool rather than a novelty. Its cloud sharing, quick autofocus, and rugged handheld form factor let you capture and deliver evidence without a steep learning curve. Hobbyists who dabble in thermography for home improvement projects will also find it approachable, as long as they understand the resolution ceiling. On the flip side, skip it if you're a casual user who merely wants to glance at temperature differences once in a while, or if you're a filmmaker looking for high-resolution thermal footage for cinematic purposes. The 160120 sensor limits detail, and there's no interchangeable lens system to upgrade optics. For those scenarios, a higher resolution Flir Scout or a thermal add-in for a DSLR would make more sense, even if it means a bigger investment. Practical strengths sum up to reliable autofocus for most hotspot hunting, Wi-Fi cloud workflow that cuts post-processing time, solid battery life for a half day, and a menu that doesn't require a manual every time you turn it on. Practical weaknesses are modest resolution that can't replace a visual camera for detailed documentation, occasional focus hunting in uniform temperature scenes, and a single, non-removable